did for a few reasons. Number one, it's a very practical issue. Growing up, there was a joke about basically the only Anglo, certainly Orthodox Anglo newspaper in the New York area is the Jewish Press, which for the most part had news articles, advice columns, advertisements, social announcements, and here and there things that could be associated with actual Torah, halachic questions and answers, Dvar Torah, and so forth and so on. And the question used to be asked, are you allowed to take the Jewish press into the bathroom? And the retort in the joke would be, the real question is, are you allowed to take it out? Since those days of limited Jewish Orthodox journalism, we have witnessed an explosion of publications, Yetod Ne'eman, Yom L'Yom, Hatzofet, Olav Shalom, we've Mishpacha, and so forth and so on. Jewish Week, Jewish Chronicle. And so with the proliferation of that, and even more so, the number of trees that sacrifice themselves every week so that we can have about 75 alamim in every shul with dozens of copies that someone shouldn't have to, God forbid, daven on Friday night and what to do, has led to a proliferation of Divrei Torah. Plus, I want you to know, during the Oval year, in our monthly shiurim, I weighed whether I should be giving out Mari Makomot source sheets. And because of the topic tonight, I decided against it, even though probably from an educational point of view it might have been more helpful for people to have text in front of them when I made references. It is so easy to reproduce Torah material with a Xerox machine, a photocopier. It's absolutely incredible. So it's a very practical question with the mounds of what we used to call shemus, or here we call it geniza, with the mounds of that material, and it's become ever so difficult to deal with it. For example, the Moitzad Datit of Yerushalayim used to have a terrific service of burying geniza. All you had to do was next to Shamgar, in what looked like lahavdil garbage tzvardeim, you just simply, they were actually not for garbage, but for shemus. All you had to do was put it in there, and whenever, twice a year or whatever, the Moitzad Datit used to take care of it, and they had to stop. They couldn't keep up, and the budget constraints and so forth and so on. So what do we do with all of this? And the second, and perhaps really the more important reason for me personally to pick the topic that I did, was because if there was someone who was Mokir Torah, who had a profound respect for Torah, and that means not only in the realm of loving to learn Torah, but to have a genuine respect for Torah, whether that was a human being who was endowed with prodigious Torah knowledge, usually Rabbanim, but not only, whether it was a printed text and how he approached it, whether it was that there's no kind of possibility for a bar mitzvah boy to get up and lay in Parshat HaShavua if he's going to disrespect the text, which meant that before I learned Trup, I had to learn the Parsha from the content point of view, and before I could get up to lane, I had to render the laning in a way that actually lent dignity and glory to the subject matter, and not just to get up there and do some kind of a musical performance. So for this reason, I felt that this would be a topic very close to my father's heart. I also would like to, there are only going to be about 6 or 7 people here who know the person, but it happens that the 28th of Nisan is a Yahrtzeit for another member of our extended family. I have a cousin in Florida, A.D. Burns, whose husband, Fred, Olav Shalom, passed away on the 28th of Nisan. So I'd like to dedicate the shiur not only in my father's memory, but also in Fred's memory as well. There's a Gemara Maseches Makos that the Mishnah says it's possible for a Jew to plow and furrow the ground and somehow manage to violate 8 transgressions of Torah, each of which on their own would render him liable for lashes, for malchus. For example, if he does it on Yontif in the Shemitah year with an ox and a donkey together, and it's diverse seeds, so those are 4 of the 8 right off the bat. Here's how we can maximize all the problems. He can really be worthy for 8 sets of lashes. And Gemara, in commenting on this, raises a series of questions. What, only 8? Is that the best you could do? How about adding the following Isser that the Mishnah didn't mention, and the following Isser, and the following? It goes through a whole series of it. Amongst that series, the Gemara brings down the question of Rav Chanan. If a person who was plowing the field on Yontif and Shemitah with Kilayim, etc., who already has 25,000 lashes due to him, happens to be plowing a field where in front of him is a piece of paper with the holy name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu written on it, and he plows through the field, thereby destroying that piece of paper, and more significantly, the holy name of Hashem that is written thereupon, wouldn't that call for another set of lashes? Why? Why would you get lashes for doing something like that? Because the Torah tells us in Devarim regarding idolatry, Va'asherehem tesufun ba'esh, the Asherah tree that was the subject of idolatry, you should burn, you should destroy, and it goes on with a whole list. And then it says, V'ibadetem et shema min hamakomahu, you have to obliterate the name of idolatry from those places. Lo ta'asun kein l'Hashem Elokechem. But don't do any of the aforementioned when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, to obliterate the name of Hashem involves a transgression of a negative precept of the Torah, and this is the Raisa, and therefore a person would be worthy of receiving lashes. So the Gemara asks that question. It's not relevant to our topic how the Gemara deals with all these questions. Basically, it shrugs its shoulders and says, yeah, you're right. But we see that there is a concept of not destroying the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's actually a medrash as well in Devarim. Rabbi Yishmael teaches us that a person who erases even but one letter of the name of God is transgressing a negative commandment based on the psukim that I just quoted. So we see that the erasure of Hashem's name is an Isser D'Oraisa, and one who violates this transgression is liable for malchus, for lashes. Then there's a Gemara in Masechet Shavuot, Daf Lamed Hey. Because the question is, what is the scope of this Isser? For example, does that include if someone has a piece of paper in which the word God, G-O-D, or in whatever language, Gott, G-O-T-T in German, and so forth and so on, Eibishter, I don't know why people sometimes feel that if they mention God as the Eibishter, that's like holier than God or Hashem.
Yiddish,
yeah, but whatever the language might be in, how far do we go in terms of this transgression? So actually, it's not as far as you might think. The Gemara in Shuas tells us that the prohibition that the Torah referred to in Re'eh, Lo ta'asun kein l'Hashem Elokechem, only refers to the actual Shemot, and that's why the material that we call in Israel Geniza, it was always known in Jewish communities as Shemus, from the word Shemot, not from the word shame in English, but from Shemot, Shemus. So there are 7 actual names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yud Kei, Vav Kei, Aleph, Daled, Nun, and Yud, Kel, Eloka, Elokim, Shakai, and Svakot. There are actually variants on this. There are different ways. Some people take one out and put another one in, but those are the basic 7, and so the Rambam paskins in Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah that these are the names that erasure thereof causes one to transgress the Isser of Lo Tasum Kain Lashem Elokechem. So, erasure. What do we mean by erasure? Erasure would mean, based on the psukim, things like burning the piece of paper in which Hashem's name is written, since that's actually mentioned there. Would it mean if you took an array, for example, a teacher writes on the blackboard a pasuk that has the Shem Hashem on it, and he writes it out fully using one of the 7 names of Hashem. He's probably not likely to write the Yud K Vav K, but he might write Elokim. It's very interesting in Israel, even people who we don't view as Dati, generally speaking, will say Hashem